So the Infinity Gauntlet is just a never-ending fight or something?
Well, there's a lot of fighting. What do you mean?
Well, it's like a gauntlet, so it's like a fight, right?
No. Like, different definition. It's a glove.
He has to fight a glove? Oh, damn it.
Cecil, Heath, Tom, down here.
Hey, Noah, what are you doing in that pit?
Oh, I'm just hanging out, Heath, eating snacks.
Really? I want to play.
No,
What's
Heath,
next?
I was being
What do you have?
sarcastic. This week's episode is about the World War II holdout Hiroo Onoda. So Eli turned the studio into a jungle and set a bunch of traps.
Okay. But where are the snacks? You definitely said that, and now you're avoiding the subject.
Credit where credit is due, though. Eli commits.
Yeah. Tell that to the spear in my leg. We gotta hunt him down.
Already on it, Noah. We hunted man at a corporate retreat last summer. I am all over this.
Tom has a weird job.
Yeah, we actually don't talk about it, so...
Okay, so the snacks you were saying
I was
right before. You said snacks.
Sarcasm.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Eli, and I'll be emerging from hiding like my long dormant tumor this week, but I won't entertain this delusion alone. First up are two men whose personal hygiene causes doctor to wonder if people can get mange. Tom and Cecil.
Okay, short answer, yes. Long answer is, you don't want to know how. It's not. You just don't ask that. My cosplay name is Count Psoriasis.
It's man-at-arms psoriasis, Cecil.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
And also joining us tonight are Heath and Noah. Just a couple of guys, one disappointment shy of abandoning their already tenuous grips on reality forever.
What? My life is happy and fulfilling. What? Slavery's a choice. Witch hunt.
I don't think that's true, but if it is, you guys have me until that Han Solo movie comes out. Yeah. That's this month.
All right, so before we get too much further, I want to stop and thank our patrons. Something we only do every single week. Our patrons love it. Makes them feel good to know that this portion of the show is for them. And it is. It's just for you, patrons. But for those who don't support the show, this amusing little weekly blurb, this isn't yours. You don't own any portion of this. So sit back, patrons. Relax. Put your feet up.
You want to start the fucking show?
Knowing that right now I'm talking to the patrons, Heath talking to them.
Okay.
And when I go home tonight to feed my pugs their vegan calf liver and narwhal eggs, know that their lifestyle, absurd, decadent, and wasteful, is only possible because of you, patrons, and your money. And that makes you better than other people.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Like the Royals.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound nice? Wouldn't you like to be one of them? If you'd like to learn to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Noah, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about Japanese holdout Hiroo Onoda. Tom, did you write me in as the first one who had to say this dude's name so you wouldn't have to learn how to pronounce the name of the guy that your essay is about?
No, except yes, I did do that.
I did. You can just Google it, right?
I know that you can just Google it.
I hate you.
I know you do, Noah. Everyone does eventually. True.
Okay, Tom, tell us, who was Hitachi Noodles?
Okay, close. Hiroo Onoda was a Japanese holdout who continued to fight World War II for almost 30 years after everyone else went home and fucked their wives.
Okay. Not sure what makes a Japanese holdout any different than just trying to think about baseball like everyone else.
Tentacles.
Oh. Okay. Tell us, Tom, aside from that, what is a Japanese holdout?
All right, Japanese holdouts, or stragglers, were World War II Japanese soldiers who continued to fight, or at least refused to surrender, long after the war concluded. Because of Japan's hyper-nationalist military and the dogmatic insistence that surrender was morally impossible, some of Japan's soldiers refused to believe the war had ended, thinking instead that news of Japanese surrender was actually Allied propaganda.
Just a bunch of Allied soldiers. They're trying to leave Japan. This guy's yelling, "Cowards! I'll bite your legs off. Come back." Dude, that bomb took your entire body off. Your soup with a face. We're done.
Just sitting on an island in the 60s, this guy like, man, they are committed to this fucking lie.
Now, other holdouts simply didn't know the war had ended at all. The Pacific Theater was fought over dozens of islands, and the troops were often strewn about almost haphazardly. The poor communications network among made it very difficult to get the word out that their emperor had no clothes.
They're all just sitting around talking to their volleyball. Rilson!
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Rilson!
So Hiroo Onoda, he was one of these holdouts. And although he wasn't actually the longest holdout, he's still plenty satisfying to talk about. Born in 1922, Onoda came from a long line of samurai warrior class, which kind of automatically makes him awesome. And his father had served as a sergeant in the 4th Cavalry Brigade and died in combat in China. When Onoda was 18, he enlisted in the army.
He actually came from a Suzuki samurai class. At low speed turns, he'd just flip over on his back.
Today I learned I'm also from the Suzuki Samurai class. That's fun.
Eli's life is, it's like a bug. He gets flipped over. It's very awkward. He's just stuck for a while.
And it just puts him upside down and leaves for work. Can we see it in 8 hours, Eli?
Bad. Madge, run into me. Madge, run into me harder.
Stop having a heart attack. Come on. Now we're both dying on our backs.
Eli's life is like the Metamorphosis, though, by Kafka. So basically the same thing.
I did wake up like this. I was a little boy.
Also
And then
appalled. Also woke up appalled.
Yeah, exactly. So, Tom, how did Oodles Caboodles do in the army?
That's racist.
Well, he did pretty well. He was trained to be an intelligence officer for the commando class, or Futurama. Wait, no, that's not right. Futamata.
Yeah, as in what the food matter with these guys, huh? It's easy to remember.
Well, after his training, he was sent to Lubang Island, or Lubang Island. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, in the Philippines.
Of course you're not.
And this is basically just like a land loogie in the middle of the ocean. Like the whole damn thing is only 48 square miles, and it's the 34th largest of the Philippine Islands, a somewhat dubious distinction.
They get dropped off. Okay, man, your mission is to take over this island. Did it. Okay. Should we do anything out? He's gone. We're stuck here.
So now the fucked up thing is, once he gets stationed, Onoda was told to do everything that he could to fuck with the enemy and prevent them from taking the islands. When the Allied forces were there, he was supposed to stop them no matter what. Told to blow up airstrips, destroy the pier, basically act like a Japanese samurai commando Dennis the Menace. He was also, it really was, just do whatever. Just shoot him with a little slingshot, just wake him up in the middle of the night.
I had another Mr. Rilson joke there. I took it out.
He was also explicitly ordered never to surrender or to take his own life. As opposed, I guess, to the other soldiers who were given the options. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they didn't want anyone killing themselves before Logan Paul was there to film it.
Just a bunch of awful white girls on spring break trying to hold a giant 1940s camera on their selfie stick. Just, woo, watching seppuku with my bitches.
Coachella. Okay, Tom, so how did this real-life tower defense game go?
Don't know what that is. For Onoda,
It's what you play on your iPad.
I use my iPad exclusively for serious pursuits, Eli. Outrageous.
Tentacle porn.
One button.
Facebook fights.
Well, for Onoda, things got off to kind of a shitty start, and then they would just kind of get worse from there. Once on the island, he met up with the other Japanese soldiers, and they all outranked Onoda, and then they refused to let him do his job.
There's a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer parody in here waiting to be
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use up my one, Ludolph the Lead-Nosed Reindeer. I'm sorry, I needed to do it.
I'm going to go ahead and say we don't all get one. Let's just agree that the rest of us
Maybe
get
just
zero.
the show
We all
gets
one.
have zero now.
There you go.
Yeah.
We all have zero
Yeah, that's
now.
a 1.
Cool.
That's a 1 star. Great job, Eli.
How can it be racist if we like them? No, I think it's still racist. I like Asian culture, but yeah. I
Fetishizing
wore
is
that
not
dress.
liking. It's still racist. All right, so this
It is liking it, but it's still racist. Yeah. So. Sorry, I don't mean to be the pedant here, Tom.
Oh, yes,
but that
you
is
do.
Well, no, it's the description that we have on the website.
You always
and all, so.
do.
You guys should do this for 4 days on Twitter until Noah tells you to fuck yourself.
All right, so this ultimately made it possible for the Allied forces to take the island when they landed on it. And very quickly, all the Japanese forces were dead or had surrendered, except for Onoda and 3 other guys. Now, Onoda's commanding officer told Onoda, quote, "It may take 3 years, it may take 5, but whatever happens, we'll come back for you." Before presumably surrendering himself, because he's not,
right.
he is not, it should be noted, amongst Onoda and the 3 other guys. So either way, he sure as fuck didn't volunteer to stay, and Onoda was now in charge, because nearly everybody else was all corpsed out, and he ordered the remaining men to take to the hills and harass the enemy from hiding.
Harass the enemy from hiding. That tradition continues to this day. It's called shitlording.
Now, Japan ultimately surrendered to the Allies on September the 2nd, 1945. Now, this is an important detail if you're, I don't know, say, fighting a war for Japan. It's actually an important detail if you're fighting a war against Japan, actually, as well. Either way, this is not insignificant to the story. What is significant, however, is that Onoda did not get this memo.
Okay, was all the Allied forces leaving not a clue? Where there was nobody else there? What did he think was happening? This is like every time Eli started playing hide and seek with his friends as a kid, and all the other kids left. They just left him there.
Yeah, that's called winning, Heath. Sometimes I would play just to see if my parents would report me missing, and they never did. They just kept looking, I guess. I mean, they were always home having really intense sex when I came home. But I bet they were like, "Oh man, when we're done with this, he's gone." Sex. I mean, they were screaming. I don't want it. Who needs to get into their childhoods right now, right?
Grief sex and victory sex sound very similar.
Especially during World War II.
All right, so Onoda and pals did not get the memo. They did, however, get leaflets, and kind of a lot of them. In October of 1945, they saw their first leaflet drop from the air, indicating that Japan had surrendered. Now, they took this to mean that Japan had not surrendered, and that things were probably going quite swimmingly for Japan, thank you, despite their current situation of being alone in the jungle without reinforcements. They thought the leaflet was just Allied propaganda.
They're like all those glass half full kids with their face pressed up against the window at the orphanage. You know? They're leaving like that little mist screen there.
Look like
Just
a sad puppy. They love it when you look like a sad puppy.
Well, yeah. Is that how I've never been to an orphanage. Is it like the pet store with like the little observation pit in the corner of the counter so you could see if they're a good one and like fuck around with them?
Put your hands around their necks. And
They're Keith, they're never a good one.
You take them out into that little room to play with them for a little while.
They were left there for a reason.
Hey, Lily, I know you just started listening to the show, and that's not something I wanted you to just like up in here, but we're excited.
Yeah.
Excited for you to
we got
visit.
some overt Asian racism. We got some orphan racism. Good.
Whatever.
orphanism.
Orphans are clearly the people nobody wants, or they wouldn't be orphans. Duh, it's in the... Okay.
You're undoing years of children's books. I just want you to know this, Tom. We invested in a lot of children's books that said the other thing. I'm just throwing that out there.
So now these guys also didn't believe the war was over because they had recently been fired upon. And you might think that this would be good reasoning, except that the people that were shooting at them were the police. And they were shooting at them because Onoda and his men were carrying out guerrilla missions to fuck with the Filipinos. And also sometimes just kill them. That's also part of what they did.
Right, and Filipino police can do that themselves, damn it. They don't need his help.
Nearly a year later, more leaflets were dropped. Onoda inspected them very carefully to determine their authenticity, and after a careful examination of a clearly authentic document, concluded the document was not authentic.
Okay, well, clearly this story doesn't need to keep going, but I'm sure it will anyway. So let's pause for a moment for everyone's favorite interstitial skit, apropos of nothing.
Mr. Onoda? Mr. Onoda, the war's over. Seriously, you have to stop shooting at us.
Never. American pig dog.
Okay, why don't you have an Asian accent?
Because he's a coward.
Fuck you. Eli. Get out of the skit. You're not
get
in
out
this
of the
one.
skit. You get
You're
out of the
not in
skit.
it. Stop.
Mr. Onoda, look, we're tossing over a newspaper. See, Japan surrenders. It says it right on there.
Fake news. Allied propaganda.
It's in Japanese. It has a photo.
Photoshop. Typical.
Doesn't exist yet.
Still. Photoshop.
Damn it. Stop. Okay, Mr. Onoda, what would convince you?
Okay. I want my buddy Steve from before. I want him to tell me the war's over, and I want him to use our secret password. Otherwise, I don't believe you.
Hero, it's me, Steve. The password is Goblin. The war is over, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to Steve. Can't believe it.
This fucking guy.
Well, that was surprisingly not racist. Tom, when we left off, I believe a small band of crazy people were camping and refused to stop. What happened next at this Firefest prequel?
Well, not a hell of a lot for about 4 years, except the occasional guerrilla warfare style skirmish against a handful of farmers and fishermen. One of the survivors, tired, I guess, of being followed by the naked and afraid film crew, said, fuck this noise, and he just walked out of the jungle and surrendered to Filipino forces. Not to be outsmarted, Onoda and the remaining 2 holdouts declared this a security breach and became even more careful. Until one of them got shot in the leg in a shootout with some local fishermen that they were harassing, like World War II style. Yeah, right. Onoda nursed the wounded man back to health, but, and I love this part, that same guy was later shot and killed by the world's worst search party.
Touch of pedantry here. Are they the world's worst search party? Maybe the world's worst search and rescue
Yeah, right.
party.
Okay.
Yeah, they found. Yeah, you got it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just worried about what this says about the quality of Allied forces in the war, right? Like this dude fought American soldiers and middle-aged, half-drunk Filipino fishermen and couldn't tell the difference. Right? Greatest generation. Are we sure about that, really? Has it been
That was
before
us.
or after?
Everyone else was the worst generation. We are the ones that got the great
it's the millennials. You guys are fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. You think the Germans were the greatest generation during that time period? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they just wanted the greatest genes, not the greatest generation. They were looking for something different.
All right, in 1952, more leaflets, along with letters and pictures from their families, were dropped, urging them to surrender, or at the very least, to just stop shooting the fishermen. But the holdouts decided that this was a trick.
Of course.
Evidently overestimating the amount of resources a nation at war would expend on tricking a handful of soldiers whose primary military contribution amounted at this point to mild vandalism.
Feels like the move would be dressing up like soldiers from an even older war. Like this guy sees Cecil's LARPing team and he's like, oh shit, I jumped ahead. That is on me. Okay, who are we stabbing? Let me get one. Let me get a rapier. What do you got?
Riposte.
All right, so that one guy died from the search party, so now it's just Onoda and one dude. For the next 20 years.
Oh, fuck.
So they did the only sensible thing.
Ooh, they fucked.
Almost certainly. They also started burning the villagers' rice, and the villagers did the only sensible thing.
They started planting the rice in puddles. Stop the fire.
Well, they called the police, who shot and killed Onoda's only remaining friend. So then there was one, like Highlander style. Onoda's now alone, and it's 1972, guys.
Jesus
People are at home watching MASH. And this guy is sleeping in the Philippines jungle fighting World War II by himself against, at this point, would have to be some very annoyed and confused villagers.
So basically, old Japanese Macaulay Culkin is rigging this little island like Home Alone. That's awesome. If I'm in charge, it's now officially a super expensive theme park for human hunting.
I mean, if any country would have that, it's Japan. So, Tom,
Or the Philippines, yeah.
how does this all end for Loodle Doodle Doodle?
Well, in 1974, Norio Suzuki set up to find, as he put it, quote, Lieutenant Onoda, a wild panda, and the abominable snowman in that order.
What?
And I love this part of the story.
Relay race? Like, I don't understand what's happening.
This guy's like his own citation needed. He's
So like
fucking nuts.
if he found a Yeti before a panda, he would have been like, fuck, start over. I don't understand.
Go. Catch and release.
Mulligan. All right, so Onoda has been living rough for 29 years at this point. He's shooting at the villagers. Nobody can convince this guy to come out. Nobody can find him. Guess how long it took Suzuki to find this guy?
4 days.
4 days.
4.
Okay, 4 days. It took 4 days. That's great. Yeah, it does. Read ahead. You read ahead, and you all think you're clever reading. Oh, I bet Tom, they're going to do a thing now. Fuck you. How about that? Okay. All right. 4 days. I guess I was the only one surprised that it only took 4 days. I would have thought 29 years, 4 days. Fine. Fuck you guys. Motherfucker's been living in the jungle alone for 30 years, and some guy finds him in a long weekend.
And you know that local Filipino sheriff was a dick about it. He gave like that whole speech about this is our jurisdiction in a Texas accent for some reason. And they almost kissed. They're face to face. That all definitely happened.
I feel like this was a notice choice, right? You're alone for 30 years in the jungle and someone's like, I'm looking for you. And you're like, over here, I hope you don't find me. Sure would hate to die and not be alone in the woods wiping with my hand anymore. Chew, sneeze noise over here.
So Suzuki finds Onoda after 4 days, and Onoda, for his part, nearly killed Suzuki as soon as he met him. But he decided not to because Suzuki was so improbably dressed that Onoda couldn't believe that he would actually be a spy. He just looked too ridiculous.
He should have dressed as a panda, and then he never could have been caught.
How do you know he didn't? I didn't say
This
how.
is a panda inside an abominable snowman suit. You know what I mean? That would have been amazing.
It's 1974. Just looked like Jack Tripper. Onoda was fucking confused.
He's like bell bottoms. Those are weird.
So Suzuki and Onoda, they end up becoming friends, and Suzuki tried to persuade Onoda to surrender. And Onoda refused to surrender without orders from his commanding officer that this fight was over and that he was allowed to surrender.
Jesus, who knew the Japanese people were so formal, right?
Certainly not the other Japanese guy in this story. So Suzuki had to fly back to Japan and convince the Japanese government that he had found Onoda, but they also needed to find Major Yoshimi Tamagotchi or whatever. And they had to feed him with those buttons. Onoda's commanding officer. If he did, Onoda was never going to surrender. So Taniguchi or Tamagotchi was found, and he agreed to fly to the Philippines. And on March the 9th, 1974, Onoda was issued the following orders by his commanding officer nearly 30 years after World War II ended.
It's fantastic.
Here's the orders. 1. In accordance with the Imperial Command, the 14th Area Army has ceased all combat activity.
Well, almost all.
2. In accordance with Military Headquarters Command Number A 2003, the Special Squadron of Staff's headquarters is relieved of all military duties. And 3. Units and individuals under the command of Special Squadron are to cease military activities and operations immediately and place themselves under the command of the nearest superior officer. When no officer can be found, they are to communicate with the American or Philippine forces and follow their directives. Now, it's unclear whether they also yelled "Ollie, Ollie, Oxenfree" at this point, but if not, that's a wasted opportunity.
He starts asking his boss for the secret password. Guy can't remember it. He guesses wrong 3 times. Okay, what was the first concert you attended? Case sense. Motherfucker, he just shoots him. I don't know capitals.
starts drawing and CAPTCHA on the ground in front of him.
Is that an F? Fuck, I get this wrong every time. Lower, fuck, okay. Now, Onoda then surrendered, dressed in his still immaculate military dress uniform, and turned over his gleaming officer's sword, which he'd kept in perfect condition. For real, Onoda and his men had, in their 30-year post-war mission, killed 30 people and wounded 100 others. He was pardoned by the Japanese government given the circumstances. The circumstances evidently being fucking crazy, I guess.
I also just want to point out that to Tom, killing 30 people and wounding 100 is, quote, mild vandalism, unquote.
Chicago scale.
Right. No, that's
Heath gets it. Heath gets it.
Yeah.
Well, none of that had to happen. So, tell us, Tom, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Give up before you start. It's the only way to be sure.
And are you ready for the quiz?
I've been waiting 29 years.
Have you really?
No, about a week.
All right.
4 days.
All right. So
4 days, you read ahead. That's not fair.
All right, so which of the following modern-day things were first inspired by Hiroo's doomed idiotic persistence? A, getting rainwater out of a tire. B, getting the last of the dirt into the dustpan. C, clarifying an opinion on Twitter. Or D, the end of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, my God. Those are all
Book, movie,
those
take
are
your
all
pick.
really bad. The end of the Lord of the Rings. No, it's the Twitter one.
It
It's
is.
the Twitter
It is
one.
the Twitter one. I was hurt recently. So
All right, Tom. What was the best part of Hiroo Onoda's funeral thanks to his will? Was it A, he insisted that the eulogy would be a filibuster, and it's still going? Was it B, one of his heirs had to hide in the casket and lob out a fake grenade during the viewing? Fuck with everybody. Or C, the food? Because, I mean, it was just
the food, yeah.
really good.
It was served on one of those naked Japanese girls. It was
Oh,
awesome.
you got it. Fatty Toro. So
Oh,
good.
man.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Correct.
Just worth it.
See the food. Yep.
Worth it. It tastes like fish anyway.
All right. All right. It's easy for us to look at Onoda and laugh, but he's not the only one fighting lost battles. Who has it even worse than Captain Kang Hiroo?
Oh, no.
God.
Oh, no.
Is it A, men over 30 who try to skateboard?
Okay. All right.
B, women who insist on telling strangers that they can still wear their daughter's clothes? C, anyone trying to build a following on Tumblr? Or D, podcasters?
All right. You're going to attack me with an entire question. That's whatever.
I mean, it is weird that you say you could wear your daughter's clothes for a lot of reasons.
You might want to pay the child support first before taking her clothes. I'm going to go with that one, actually, because that weirds me out now, Heath.
That is correct.
All right.
hey,
All right, Tom. In order to remain a fugitive for so long, Hiroo mastered the art of hiding in plain sight. What was his favorite technique? A, becoming a powerful executive producer / rapist. B, asking rich white people for bus fare.
That works. That's good. Yeah.
C, waited patiently until his mom and stepdad had their first kid. Or D.
No, it's C. It's just
So
C.
sad though.
It's
It's so
C.
sad. He's going to be an orphan, like
Oh
we
my
mentioned
God.
earlier. Anyway, D is also sad. Submitting a podcast to the society culture category. I know.
C is perfect.
It's C. And Heath was supposed to. One of those is wrong, Heath. Heath, you were supposed to.
Well, Heath is the saddest, so Heath, you win.
All right. Thank you.
You got
All the glory to
attacked by
God.
the most questions.
All right.
All right, so now I'll
Do I not get to announce something?
Your turn.
All right.
You do.
Thank you.
You do. It's
Eli.
written right in there.
I'm going to announce that I would like to pick Cecil for next week.
Yay! I love being picked. I used to always get picked last, so this is a refreshing twist.
I'm with you.
That means you won. It's like the hide and seek game.
All right. Well, for Tom, Cecil, Heath, and Noah, I'm Eli Bosnick. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Cecil will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to Tom and Cecil's never-ending war against religion over on Cognitive Dissonance, or join the multi-fronted battle Heath, Noah, and myself wage on a weekly basis over at the Scathing Atheist, God-Awful Movies, and the Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
He left his family to fight in the greatest conflict his nation had ever seen.
Look, babe, I gotta fucking do this. Tell Shinto and Ditto and Boobity Boop that if they don't get A's when I'm gone, I'll fucking beat the shit out of both of them and get away with it for like 34 years.
He went to a foreign land to finish a war he didn't start.
Who are you?
Me? I'm fucking Hello Kitty. No, that's not right. I'm Hala Akbar. Nope, give me a second. I'll get it. Hello, I'm Hiroo Onoda, Mr. Rabatu. I'm a guy. I'm a Japanese guy.
And when it was over, he didn't want to give up.
Onoda, the war is over.
It might be over for fucking you, but I'll never quit.
No, like, our side surrendered. It's over. We can go home. It's done.
I said I never fucking quit, Boris. You hear?
Nope. My name's not Boris.
Whatever. Don't tell me how to do my job, asshole.
And his fight continued.
Well, I killed 18 soldiers today, Boris. Not a fucking bad day's work, if I say so myself.
Dude, you killed 4 chickens, a little dog, you cut down 3 trees, uprooted some kelp, and broke a rock in half.
If I say so myself, I say so. Me, I said it.
Marky Mark is Hello Kitty in Never Surrender.
This time, I'm the Japanese guy. What? Why are you making that cutting motion? Cut a guy? Stop gesturing. It's confusing.
He left his family to fight in the greatest conflict his nation had ever seen.
Look, babe, I gotta fucking do this. Tell Shinto and Ditto and Boobity Boop that if they don't get A's when I'm gone, I'll fucking beat the shit out of both of them and get away with it for like 34 years.
Boobity boop. Bibbity boop is good. Bibbity boop broke Tom. You broke Tom with bibbity boop. So. Now he's crying. Okay. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute.
I'm a fucking professional.
This is the most racist laugh break we've ever had.
He went to a foreign land to finish a war he didn't start.
Who are you?
Me? I'm fucking Hello Kitty. Nope, that's not right. I'm Hala Akbar. Nope, give me a second. I'll get it. Hello, I'm Hiroo Onoda, Mr. Rabatu. I'm a guy. I'm a Japanese guy.
You got Tom. He's got a minute. You got to have a minute. Give him a minute. He's going to get it.
Okay. And when it was over, he didn't want to give up.
Onoda, the war is over.
It might be over for fucking you, but I'll never quit.
No, like, our side surrendered. It's over. We can go home. It's done.
I said I never fucking quit, Boris. You hear?
Nope. My name's not Boris.
Whatever. Don't tell me how to do my job, asshole.
And his fight continued.
Well, I killed 18 soldiers today, Boris. Not a fucking bad day's work, if I say so myself.
Dude, you killed 4 chickens, a little dog, you cut down 3 trees, uprooted some kelp, and broke a rock in half.
If I say so myself, I say so. Me, I said it.
Marky Mark is Hello Kitty in Never Surrender.
This time, I'm the Japanese guy. What? Why are you making that cutting motion? Cut a guy? Stop gesturing. It's confusing.
Oh, God.